Starting from the 1990s, especially after joining the WTO, China experienced one of the fastest economic growth in the world. GDP per capita rose from less than $1,000 to over $12,000. Millions of workers in factories, offices, warehouses, service industries, and digital platforms contributed greatly to this growth. However, not everyone benefits equally from it. Behind the economic numbers hides a cruel reality: the ignorance of labor rights. In recent years, these situations have become more visible and common. Office employees are pushed into extreme overtime work. Factory workers wait months of wages that they already earned. Outdoor laborers suffer heat stroke after hours of working in 40 degrees heat. And some employees are dismissed overnight without any notice, compensation, and any protection. These problems are not just workplace issues, they are human rights problems. Article 23 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights states, "Everyone has the right to work, to just and favorable conditions, and to protection against unemployment." However, for many workers in China, these rights remain unclear. They are ignored by society, neglected by employers, and unprotected by the government and the law. So how is the real condition of workplace rights in China today? In this video, we will explore real cases behind China's workplaces and what they reveal about the rights of workers. China has built a relatively comprehensive legal framework to protect labor rights, including laws such as the Constitution, the labor law, and the labor contract law. These laws formally recognize fundamental human rights to employment, freedom of rest and leave, workplace safety, and access to Social Security. For example, Article 3 of China's labor law states that workers enjoy the right to equal employment, rest and vacation, labor safety and health protection, and the right to receive labor remuneration. On paper, these laws suggest that labor rights are clearly protected. However, in practice, labor protection in China is often balanced against economic growth and stability. Labor rights are commonly framed as part of the broader rights to subsistence and development, rather than as individual rights. Moreover, China's government adopts a single and state-led trade union under the All China Federation of Trade Unions. Independent trade unions are not legally permitted. Although mechanisms such as collective consultations exist, they are largely operated and guided by the government, and the right to strike is not recognized by the law. This approach differs significantly compared to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, particularly Article 23 and 24. Labor rights are treated as universal and inherent human rights. Individuals have the freedom to choose employment, to enjoy just and favorable working conditions, to receive equal pay for equal work, and to form and join trade unions. China's labor rights share some similarities with the UDHR, but they differ in practice. China emphasizes a government-centered framework, while the UDHR prioritizes personal dignity, autonomy, and individual freedom in the workplace. Now, we are going to look at 3 real cases that illustrate violations of labor rights in China. Case 1. In 2019, Sheng Muhuan worked as a full-time delivery rider for a food delivery platform operated by Jiangsu XX Network Technology Co., Limited. Although Sheng was managed like a regular employee with fixed schedules, order assignments, and wages paid by the company, he was later required to register as an individual, industrial, and commercial household. A project subcontracting agreement was signed, and the company claimed that the relationship was no longer an employment relationship. On August 24 of the same year, Sheng was injured while delivering food. Because he was registered as an individual business owner rather than an employee, he was unable to apply for work-related injury recognition or compensation. After trial, the court held that despite the contractual arrangement, the relationship between the two parties met the characteristics of a labor relationship. The court ruled that a labor relationship did exist, allowing Sheng to initiate the work-related injury recognition process. Case 2. Wang Mu was hired as an engineer by XX Engineering Co., Limited, in July 2020 under the standard working hour system. During his employment, the company frequently organized online meetings and training sessions outside regular working hours. Although participation was described as voluntary, employees were effectively required to attend. After the labor contract was terminated in June 2023, Wang claimed overtime pay of 84,300 yuan and submitted evidence showing his participation in online activities during non-working hours. The company refused to pay, arguing that there was no formal overtime approval process and that employees were not required to attend the meetings. After trial, the court rejected the company's arguments and determined that the online meetings and training sessions constituted forced overtime work. The court partially upheld Wang's claim and awarded him 19,000 yuan in overtime compensation. Case 3. Zhu Mo was employed by XX Security Service Co., Limited, starting in July 2022. The company agreed to replace statutory social insurance contributions with cash subsidies. Although this arrangement appeared to provide short-term financial benefits, it meant that Zhu was not covered by formal social insurance schemes required by law. Later, Zhu terminated the labor contract on the grounds that the company had failed to pay social insurance contributions as legally required and claimed economic compensation. The Arbitration Commission initially rejected his claim, citing the agreement between the two parties. Zhu then filed a lawsuit with the court. After hearing the case, the court ruled that payment of social insurance is a statutory obligation of employers and cannot be replaced or waived by private agreements. The court ruled in favor of Zhu and supported his claim for economic compensation. In the first case, the company violated the Article 23 and 25 of UDHR. Shen Muhan was forced to sign as being recognized as an individual owner, which prevents him being recognized as a formal employee and denied him access to work-related injury protection. In the second case, the company's action violates Article 23 of the UDHR. Forcing Wang Mu to participate in online meetings and training outside work hours is a violation of his rights to rest and fair working conditions. As for the third case, the company violated Article 22 of the UDHR, which emphasized the right to Social Security. The company deprived Zhu Mu's right to receive a long-term protection against illness, injury, and aging. Together, these three cases reveal common challenges faced by workers in China nowadays. Although labor laws exist, workers often find significant gaps between the law and real-life implementations. All of these three cases represent only a small part of the reality faced by workers in China today. Beyond these cases, many other labor-related problems continue to exist, from unresolved disputes to the suppression of collective action and worker representation. When labor rights are violated, workers do not only lose wages, they lose time with their families, security in times of illness or injury, and often their physical and mental health. Labor rights are human rights. They shape people's health, wage, and well-being. Protecting labor rights concerns every worker. It means protecting people and building a safer, more sustainable society where work does not come at the cost of human dignity.